Craig Ridley here from Your Business Coaching Club. Welcome back into our community and welcome to another podcast. Today I want to have a look at how you go about structuring your business for growth. And look, I'm going to say from the outset that growing a business isn't easy at all. Profit improvement, which we've talked a bit about in previous podcasts and certainly in plenty of sessions on our coaching side at Your Business Coaching Club, profit improvement is relatively easy to achieve. It's a simple business model. You build your customer base, you sell them the services and the products that they want, you sell them at the right price, and you try and control your costs and your finances, and you're pretty much done. I know that's simplified it, but that's what profit improvement is all about. Business growth, though, is much more difficult to achieve because it requires strategy and it requires a very disciplined approach to the implementation of strategy. And even worse, you need to drive that strategy through other people. So you can't just rely on your own abilities to grow a business. You need to actually work through other people. And that sometimes can be the hardest thing that you need to face. But look, the trade-off, though, is that once you have structured your business properly, once you have got it ready to be able to grow, you can scale the business in a much more controlled way, a much more safe way. So we take some of the risk, we de-risk the business if you structure the business properly before you start the growth trajectory. And best of all, probably, you can also free yourself from the business operations, the day-to-day tasks of running the business, and you can be much more strategic in your thinking, and you can be much more balanced in the lifestyle that you lead as well. So you can start to reduce your reliance or reduce the amount of reliance the business has on you. And probably as the icing on the cake there, you'll also increase the value of the business while you're working less, simply because the business is better structured. So look, I've worked with heaps of business owners over the years who tell me they want to grow their business, but they've got absolutely no idea where to start and absolutely no idea how to do it properly. Many businesses or business owners try to grow, and many businesses fail in that process. Without a framework to work with, business growth is just this mysterious sort of goal that everyone seems to be trying to achieve, but no one really ever seems to get there. So in this session, in today's podcast, I want to share with you the model that I use to structure my clients' businesses for growth, and I hope that can just get you started on your journey towards business growth. So perhaps before we jump in, let me just tell you a little bit about Your Business Coaching Club. Look, I set it up as a way to disrupt the traditional business coaching industry. I wanted to provide practical, professional, affordable support to entrepreneurs all around the globe as they try and achieve whatever their own personal visions are for growth and for business success. To achieve that, our mission, or my mission, is to give you and every other entrepreneur around the world the very best online resources and advice that is available to you. And I focus on improving your profit, on growing your business, on generating wealth from your business, and trying to help business owners achieve that lifestyle balance that you need between your business life and your personal life. It's one of the reasons we all started in business, was to get a better life balance rather than working for the man in corporate land. But as you know, the reality sometimes is a little bit different to the dreams we go into. So I need your help a little bit just to spread the word about Your Business Coaching Club. If you like what you hear today, look, please subscribe to this podcast. Share your wisdom with the group in the comment section below this video or whenever you're listening to the podcast. And just generally share with your network if you think that what we have to say is relevant and useful to them. Obviously, we'd invite you to become a member of Your Business Coaching Club and join our community if that becomes appealing to you. I'll talk more about that at the end of the podcast. But we'd love to have you on board. We've got plenty of options to get you there. So perhaps if you visit us at yourbusinesscoachingclub.com and have a look what we've got to offer. All right, let's get into it. So business growth. Why would you want to grow anyway? If you're making good money now and if you're enjoying your life, there's no rule that says that you have to grow your business. I've got plenty of clients that have reached a level in their business that they're really comfortable with. They make enough money, the business is profitable, their staff are easy to manage, life is pretty comfortable for them. So why would you push for more if you don't really need it? It's not a sin to say, enough's enough, my business is big enough, let's just sit where we are. To grow a business involves risk, financial risk, the risk of failure is always there, operational risk. So we can't go into this business growth story without an understanding of the realities, and it does really involve risk. It involves commitment. You really need to be committed to a strategy, and you'll need perseverance to try and see that strategy through to the end. Absolutely, it requires smart decision making. Where we put strategy in place, it needs to be good strategy. When we're just building a basic business model and just getting it started, we can rely on a bit of winging it as much as anything else. We just get something out to market and see how it goes. But as you grow, you need to be much more structured in what you're doing. It requires capital, it requires effort, it requires time to build your business. So there are risks and there are commitments that you need to make if you truly do want to grow your business. But it can also drive profit improvement. It can scale the amount of profit that spits out of a business astronomically. It can build sustainability into the profits and your future cash flows as you diversify the business and as you spread some of the risk through that growth process. And obviously it can massively increase the value of your business if you can successfully expand it and scale the business. So that extra cash that comes in when you come to sell the business becomes attractive, and that's pretty much why people will look to grow the business. But as I say, it's not a sin not to look to try and grow your business. It's not a sin to sit on a successful business if you're comfortable with where it is. But a lot of business owners will just see the challenge in wanting to grow, and also the financial necessity sometimes of trying to scale up that business. So that's why we go about it. So where do you start if you're going to start in the business growth cycle? So when you've got a business, you've got a basic profit model. You've got some marketing strategies in place that are going to drive your sales. You've got some great products and services that are driving strong margins from there. You've got a financial control system in place where you can measure your results and prove that you're converting your sales into profit and then into cash flow as well. So you need to have that basic business model in place before we start to even think about growing. And remember, as we've talked about before, you need to focus on a continuous improvement model when it looks at your profit model, just to make sure you're continually looking for ways to eliminate waste and drive out inefficiencies into the business. So we need to maximize that core business model. We need to know how we can scale up our marketing. We need to know how we can increase our range of products and services if required, or at least tailor them to changing needs in the client base, and we need to have a level of financial control over what we're doing. So let's just assume that we have got a successful basic business model at the moment, and we want to start scaling that up and capitalizing on the opportunities that we think that are out there. So first step in a growth strategy is to make sure that we actually have a strategy in place. So we need to become more strategic in our planning. So as I said before, you can't wing it anymore. If you try and build a scaled up business hoping that you're going to cobble things together on the fly, you're setting yourself up for a fail. So you need a strong strategic planning process within the business. Now, those that have been around me for some time know that I can continually preach the methodology of now, where, how. So every time we need to make some decisions, what I counsel everyone to do is just to stop and spend some time to really get to understand where we are now in relation to that issue, understand all the drivers, the facts, the realities of where we are now, then cast your mind to where you would like to be in terms of a particular decision that we might need to be made, and then go to the how are we going to do that, what are our specific action points or strategies that we're going to use to deliver on the strategic plan that we're putting in place. So just a plug again for that whole process of not jumping from the realization we've got a problem and then jump to how we're going to fix this. go through that process of, if we have a problem, let's understand what the core drivers of that problem are, what the implications are of that problem, then think about what we would like it to look like if it was fixed. So where do we want to be in relation to, let's say, our sales process, or our quality of our products and services, or the quality of our people? When we understand what that is, then we can start to put some really strong strategies in place of how we will achieve that. In your strategic planning process, you need a mix of milestones and task goals, I guess, to try and achieve. So you need a mix of 90-day goals, you need a mix of 1-year goals, you need a mix of 10-year goals and strategies, and we just build on those in terms of getting momentum, but also heading towards our endpoint, whatever that one might be. As we scale the business, we need to be much more strategic about analysing our competition, and we need to be able to develop plans to beat them. They will continually make changes to try and knock you off, and we need to be doing the same thing to try and stay in front of our competitors. And clearly with our marketing strategies, we need to know how we can scale up our marketing strategies, how we can push a button and build a bigger client base or a customer base as required going through that build through the business. So the first stage in the growth process is to take our basic business model and then put some strategy around that as to how we might grow it. And then the fun really starts, because I think the next point that we come pushing up against is we now have to really consider the people side of our business. You need to start to build teams that can accomplish goals within your business and not just push out tasks. They actually need to be able to accomplish some goals. And you need to develop leaders within your group. So it's not just a matter of having people who can turn up and be answerable to you. They need to be able to lead other groups. You need to be able to scale the business through other people. You just can't, as the business gets bigger, you just can't be everything. You can't do everything. You can't hold on to that position forever. You can't scale a business without being able to implement strategy and achieve your goals through teams and through people. So you have to recruit the right people to your team. You have to recruit really people who are better than you at the various tasks and roles that need to be accomplished. They have to be the right people. They have to be capable of excelling in the roles that you need, and they need to be able to be committed to the strategic goals of the business and have some ability to be able to drive teams themselves. So we just need to layer up the people side of the business. Now that's really difficult when you come from certainly a one-man business or a one-person business, and you build it up into a small business with a small, tight team of people that are answerable to you as you find your way through building that business model. But once your staffing structures get above 10, I find, I think one leader can control 10 people with your fingerprints all over that. But once the team goes out further than 10, you really need to find structures for your people to be working through, and you need to have the right people in the right places. So the people side of the business is a real challenge, but it's one you need to get on top of as you scale up the business. So once we've got people in place, the other thing we need to consider also is that we need to be much more structured in the way that we manage people. We need to be much more structured in the way the activities of the business runs. We need to be able to build capacity within the business by driving efficiencies and maintaining our effectiveness in everything that we do. So as we build structures, it's not enough just to have the right people in the business. There's now a really strong requirement that we have the right people in the right seats at all times. Jim Collins, in his book Good to Great, coined that phrase, having the right people in the right seats on the bus heading in the right direction, but having the right people there. But those right seats are really important. And as the business grows, what you'll find is you may well have long-term staff, you might even have friends or family in positions or in seats in the business that they're just not capable of stepping up and taking it to the next level. And you may well have to have some very hard decisions with those people as you build that structure up and getting the right people in the right place. In terms of structures, you also need really good governance processes as the business scales up. So you need much more robust financial reporting and operational reporting, KPI reporting, so you know what's going on without having to be in and around every decision that's made. There needs to be a higher level of accountability throughout the team. So people need to understand their roles and responsibilities, but they then need to be held to account in everything that they produce. And that will just lead us to be able to make much better decisions, and also to be able to put the systems in place that can drive the implementation of the strategies that we've developed. We need structures there to make sure that the delegation of authority is right through the business structure, and that our decision making occurs at lower and lower levels, so it's not relying upon you as the owner, or even your senior leaders, to be the sole decision makers in the business. The further you push that decision making authority, I guess, down the levels of your staff, the better structured your business is to be able to cope with the issues that come as you scale up the business. Communication processes are really important as the business grows out. So the type of meeting rhythms that your teams get involved in, where they meet perhaps daily, where there's weekly meetings, where there's monthly and annual meetings within leadership groups, and right down to the frontline staff there. So in terms of structuring the business, how you structure your communication flows is really, really important. And it's a critical success factor, I think, in trying to scale up a business. If information's not flowing properly, if people don't understand why they're doing something, how they're supposed to be doing something, if they're not communicating their progress on various issues around the place, then the business can just hemorrhage from lack of information, or even sometimes too much information. So it's really, about getting those communication flows as good as you can possibly get them to de-risk the scale-up process. So it's really about getting all the resources in the right resources to be available within the business, and for those to be available at the right time and at the right place. So structuring the business for growth, you need to spend a lot of time around what does that structure look like, and there'll be various versions of that structure as well, as we go from a $1 million business to a $10 million business to a $100 million business. The structures that are required to run those businesses are completely different, so you need to evolve as we go through that process. So as well as structures, the other thing that or concept that we need to get in place in this framework for growth is we need to have better and better systems and processes embedded within our business model. And I think the more systemized the business is the proof that we see where a business is reaching maturity, where you've moved from that startup, small business type phase and growing into the medium business, the larger business, the corporate type business. The difference between those is the I guess the tightness of the systems and processes, how structured a business is in terms of how it does things and how it goes about doing its business. Small business will always fall back on, we don't need those tight systems and processes because that's what keeps us nimble. We need to be able to keep changing to keep pace with the big boys, but you can't run a scaling business without system and process. You just need that in place. Systems and processes will limit the amount of failure and loss that you're putting at risk. Systems and process will drive the efficiencies and the effectiveness of your business model. It'll help you maintain the quality of your product, whether that be the manufacturing side of the business or even the customer service side and the sales process. The better and more systemized we are in how we go about that, the better quality outcomes we're getting. It helps you maintain consistency in the way the business is operating through, particularly if you've got multiple locations or layers of departments. We do need consistency in how the business is running. Systems and processes allow us to deliver on the marketing promises that we're making. Without that, we can't guarantee that quality and that consistency. So we put all the marketing messages out there that are right for the market, but if we're not delivering on those, we fall down and our marketing message just falls flat. We lose the social credibility that we would otherwise have. So the bigger you are in the business, the more you scale up, the less flexible you can be in the way things are done within the business. You just need to embrace this idea of systems and process, and you just can't run a scaled up business without the system and process in place. Another concept that we need to have in place with this framework for a high growth business is around culture. Now, culture is it's a hard term to define, I guess. In my way of thinking, culture is just simply the way that we do things around here. It's hard to document it, but it's just what happens. It's the unspoken rules that everyone knows about, but they're not written down. But it's culture that will ultimately drive the success or failure of your business. You're going to have all the rules and regulations in place, the systems and processes, the strategies, the communication channels, a whole lot. But if the culture doesn't support a high growth business, then you're almost guaranteed to fail in the process. Culture takes lots of time and effort to build up, but it's something that can really be destroyed in seconds by the wrong words or the wrong attitudes or the wrong decisions being made, particularly by the leaders. I do think culture is something that is led from the top, and actions really do speak louder than words. So culture is a hard concept to get your head around. We all talk about culture, but how do you actually build culture in an organisation? It really is just making sure people are committed to doing things and representing the business in the way that it should be represented. And you need to reinforce that in your actions as a leader, in the way that you set up your accountability in your actions, where people step outside their roles and responsibilities, or the cultural norms that we would expect. Is how you react to those outliers. I think that helps you to build that strong core of a culture. And it is culture that will ultimately lead to the success of a really highly scaled business. A small business can get by with some cultural anomalies in there, where we do have some outliers. We can sort of bury them, or we can make excuses for them and bury them within the system, not literally bury them. But we can find roles and excuses for what they're doing. But the bigger we get, really, you'd think there's more places to hide, but there's really less places to hide. We need to have everyone representing the business and driving the cultural norms of your growing business. The final element that I would add into the framework for a successful growth business is a clarity of vision from the leaders, and how that is then communicated back through the group. So it's really important that everybody has a clear understanding of where you're going and why you're going there. And look, in a lot of ways, I think the why is way more important than the actual description of the destination. So we can all talk about what the vision is, but it's that communication and understanding, that deep understanding within the business or within the culture of the business of why we're doing things. So I really do believe that the why is way more important in a growing business, in a scaled up business, than the where we're going. You need constant communication within the business to make sure that we're aligning all of our actions, all of our decision making to that end goal, to that vision that we have. I've said before that I'm not a big fan of starting my business growth assignments or my dealings with clients. I'm not a big fan of starting them with vision. I'd rather work on the current issues that are there in a business, resolve those, build decision-making processes, develop a feeling of strategy and an ability to implement strategy within a business, and allow the vision statement to evolve out of theirs. But there's no doubt that we always need some direction of the purpose of the business. We need to know where we want to get to. But I'm not one of those people that will start every assignment with trying to get absolute clarity on where the vision is for you as a business owner or the business as a whole. I think vision is something that can evolve over time, and certainly as the vision that you'll have as a small startup company will be different to the vision you have as a very large corporate if you go through that scaled up growth type process. So I'm comfortable to let vision evolve. You definitely need a vision, you need a goal, you need a statement of direction of where we're trying to get to, but it's something that grows. I think as a startup business and you say, I want to get to be a listed company in 5 years' time, that's fantastic, but the gap is just so big. I think for me, I work on shorter term visions of what we want to achieve. And as we get to a decent size, we're starting to make decent money, our vision may actually change. We may no longer want to take the business public. We might be happy with where we are And we might just say, actually, our vision is to be a family-run business into the longer-term future. We'll bank the money that we make and we'll keep our staff happy and we'll live relaxed lives. So it's not wrong to change the vision on the way through, but certainly we need a vision statement of what we're trying to achieve at the moment. But I don't get fixated on having absolute clarity of what that end game is, because I think the end game really does change. Now, not everyone agrees with me. I can understand, and I've read enough. I've read enough to understand why vision is absolutely important. You need clarity of purpose. But as I say, the way that I operate, I'd rather deal with current day issues. I'd rather set shorter term goals that ultimately lead us to an evolving vision for the business. So see where you sit within all of that, but that's certainly where my position is. So look, all of that is what I bring together to build what I call a high performance business model, one that's capable of driving a high growth strategy. So let me recap on what I've tried to cover today. I know that I ramble a fair bit in doing these, so it's always useful for me to try and bring it back at the end and try and summarise what I was trying to get through to you. So the first thing is that, as I said, business growth is not for everyone. You know, I think you do need to understand when enough is enough and not be too concerned that everyone else is focusing on growth and talking about growth, but you're pretty comfortable where you are. Look, it's not a sin. If you're there, congratulations. I think you've reached a point of satisfaction, of personal contentment, which is what everyone really does strive for. So look, business growth is not for everyone. But if it is, if you decide you do want to grow the business, even in a small way or in a really large way, then you just need to make sure that you're working towards a framework on doing that. Because the payoffs of successful growth can be significant in terms of improved profits, improved cash flows, higher business values if the growth is done well, and potentially better lifestyles again for the business owner. You may be cranking out even more money than you were before, and yet still having that really good lifestyle balance. So certainly the benefits of well-controlled growth and scaling are sensational, but it's not for everyone. Just work out where you need to be in that one. The first step in that framework for me is to make sure that you have optimized the basic business model first. Make sure that you've got the products and services that your customers want. Make sure that you've got a marketing strategy that you can understand and that you can leverage, so you can push some buttons, pull some levers, and grow that customer base. And make sure you've got reasonable financial controls around the business. So get that basic business model first before you even think about growing your business. Then you want to start developing that winning strategy, being more strategic about what you're doing, and have a really strong focus on implementation. You need to build teams of high performance people around you, ones that are aligned to your strategies and ones that are capable of driving the success of the business, because the business as it grows will outgrow you. You can't have fingerprints over everything. You need to have high performing teams to drive that growth strategy. And you need to give your teams the structures for them to be able to work effectively within. You need systems to ensure that you're getting quality outcomes all the way through that business model. You need to constantly work on creating a winning culture, and it's a culture that works for your business and your team. There's no one size fits all with culture. It's whatever is perfect for you and your team in this moment and going forward. And then finally for me, it's about making sure we do have a vision that guides all of our decisions over the short, medium and long term. My only difference is that I have that vision statement probably towards the end of my process, because I believe it just evolves on the way through, whereas other people may well talk about having that vision process right at the start of what you're doing. But I think we've talked about enough of that. So look, that's all I've got for you in this session. I hope that has been useful for you and your team. I think to go on a growth strategy, a growth drive in the business is something that you should all be considering, and albeit, as I say, some people, if you are content with where you are, there's no sin in not doing that. But growing the business can have massive payoffs if we do that. So hopefully that framework that I've run you through today makes sense, and is something that you can apply into your business today and tomorrow as required. But as I always say, look, information is absolutely useless unless you act on it. I could have absolutely given you roll gold advice here today as you've sat through this session. But if you don't take some action now, it's a waste of time. You've just wasted what looks like to be about half an hour of your time in listening to me ramble on about growth strategies if you don't take some action now. So please make a commitment to yourself. Think about what we've just covered. See how you can apply it into your business model and just go and execute a strategy, go and execute something. Now, if you're a member of Your Business Coaching Club, there's plenty of small business MBA modules for you to be able to work through, plenty there on business strategy, a number on how to build winning teams and get the right people around you. There's a module there on how to professionalize a family business, which is really important if you're looking to try and grow that family business. We've got a module there on improving systems and processes within your business, and also plenty of modules there on leadership and what that means in a growth cycle. So plenty of resources on the in the membership site for you to be able to implement a growth strategy within your business. Remember, you can always contact us in the clubhouse if you've got any specific questions on how to apply this knowledge into your own business, and as you know, we'll provide some feedback to you through our masterclass sessions. And please make sure you share your wisdom, your experiences on going through the growth cycle with our community. Leave your comments underneath this video, or certainly come into the members forum and let's start a chat around what you think the key issues are when you're looking to grow a business. Now, for non-members that are listening in or watching this podcast, well, again, sorry, you're going to have to go it alone. But I think you should really start considering becoming a member of Your Business Coaching Club. You're not going to find a better value for money coaching resource on the net or even locally from your business guru. There's nothing that like what we've got that will offer you the sort of value that we offer you for just 50 cents a day in membership. $15 a month is all it costs to be a full member of the club. We've got a 7-day guest pass offer at the moment for just $2.50. So you can come and try everything that we've got on the site for just $2.50. If you love us, you just roll your membership into the normal $15 a month membership. If you don't like it, you just cancel your PayPal subscription and you're out of here, and good luck to you. So check us out on yourbusinesscoachingclub.com, and remember, look, just to jump on our list, download our free business success blueprints if you don't decide to become a member. Thank you all for watching and listening to this podcast wherever you are. Remember to subscribe to us here so that we can stay in touch, and please spread the word, spread the love, let people know about Your Business Coaching Club if you think that it's right for them. So look forward to seeing you in the next podcast, and for the members, let's chat in the clubhouse and in the members forum. Thanks guys, see you next time, bye.